This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
Oh, I want to believe so badly. I want to believe Joe Biden is doing this on purpose. I want to believe Joe Biden is an angry, bitter, vengeful man who's still pissed that Kamala Harris shivved him in the back in July and forced him off the ticket. And now it is Joe Biden's revenge. I want to believe he did this on purpose. But I got to be honest. I have my doubts. I'm not quite sure. I'm struggling with this. I'll be honest. I'm struggling with this because Joe Biden is two things. Obviously, he's a bitter, angry, vengeful old man who is not happy that he was forced out, and he's a lame duck, the lamest of lame ducks. He's barely even serving as president these last couple months. But he's also really dumb. He also has dementia, and he also hates Trump. So I'm not sure. I'll just say that up front. I'm not sure if this, the October surprise, perhaps the biggest blunder, the biggest gaffe of Joe Biden's gaffe-filled 50 years in Washington, happened last night, and it was glorious. Let's just be honest here. It was wonderful. What we saw, Kamala Harris took the stage at the Ellipse to deliver her big final message, surrounded by hacks and bureaucrats and lobbyists and deep state swamp creatures. This is the only place, by the way, that Kamala Harris could actually draw a crowd like this in deep blue DC, where all the people who showed up depend on her. They need her to win this because they're not sure. Donald Trump wins, they might be out of a job. So they showed up, showed their support for Kamala. She stood there, she read the teleprompter, she went through all the same lies and hoaxes and suckers and losers and dictator on day one. You name it, it was all there. We'll get to some of the highlights. But while she was speaking, not before, not after, not 2 days later, while she was speaking, her boss, her president, the guy she's been working with for 3.5 years, went on a video call with a Latino media outlet and just cut the legs out from under her, just dropped a bomb, an October surprise. And if you haven't been paying attention, what's happening right now is Democrats and the media scrambling. They are struggling to clean up the mess that Joe Biden made. There's no two ways about this. He just destroyed her message, and they don't know what to do about it. They're lying, of course. They're gaslighting. They're claiming Republicans are seizing, and they're seizing. Oh, God, this is great. I have to admit, I just enjoyed the hell out of it. I'm still enjoying it. Joe Biden said, you, me, half the country, 80, 90, 100 million people are garbage. Let's just play it. Then we'll get to some of the spin, some of the interpretation, some of the efforts to clean up this mess. They got nothing. I'll just tell you right up front. They got nothing. He said it. He said it on video. He said it oddly, unusually, clearly, coherently. That's what they're doing right now. If you're in the newsroom with the New York Times or NBC, right now they're saying, damn, Joe Biden for once spoke clearly and coherently. For once, we can't do anything about it. We can't say it was just he stumbled. You know, he has a stutter. he stumbled over his words. No, he didn't. This could not be clearer. Listen.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
There you go. There you go. There's no misinterpretation there. There's no, well, that wasn't exactly what he meant. His supporters are garbage. The only garbage he sees are his supporters. How else could you interpret that? There is no other way. There is no other way. Joe Biden, the sitting president, just said half the country is garbage. Now, Trump reacted to this immediately and said, this is worse than Hillary calling them deplorables. Yes, it's much worse. She said it's a basket of deplorables, different kinds of people. And she wasn't sitting president. This is something, by the way, Donald Trump never does. He never attacks Joe Biden supporters, Kamala Harris supporters, all as a monolith and says they're just awful people. This is what Democrats do. This is what they think of you. You are deplorable. You are garbage. Joe Biden said it, and he said it while she was talking. Is he doing it on purpose? Lots of people believe it. I would like to believe it. I'm not sure. I mean, let's be honest. The man isn't smart enough to strategically, deliberately do just about anything. He's got dementia. He's confused. He's really dumb. So I'm gonna wait. I can't definitively say he's doing it on purpose, but it doesn't matter. This is what he thinks. This is what she thinks. You are garbage. And the people who are trying to clean this up or downplay this, they're having a tough time because they just spent 3 days blaming Donald Trump for a comedian making a joke. A comedian versus the sitting president. A guy clearly joking versus a guy clearly not joking. You can't say it was joking. It wasn't a joke. You can't say he didn't say it. It's on video. Thank God for that. If this was just a comment, an offhand comment that somebody heard, they would immediately say, it's not credible. I don't believe it. They don't know what to do with this right here. They don't know what to say. And there's only 6 days left to clean the mess up, to spin this, to downplay this, to try their best to distance her from him. This is her running mate. This is her president. This is the man. These are the two people singing from the same song sheet. There's no way to go here other than to say, yes, he said it. Yes, he believes it. Yes, she believes it. You are not just a Nazi. You are not just a fascist. You are garbage. That's what she thinks. That's what he thinks of half the country. You are garbage. By the way, the man calling you garbage, just a quick rundown. The man calling you garbage sent his drug-addled son around the world to collect money from hostile nations and enrich his family. The man calling you garbage showered with his daughter. The man calling you garbage ignored his own granddaughter because her mother was a stripper and her father was a scumbag drug addict. The man calling you garbage likes to sniff young girls' hair. The man calling you garbage is one of the most corrupt public servants we've ever seen in this country. The man calling you garbage went to the dignified transfer of the 13 soldiers and Marines. He got killed. He got murdered in Afghanistan and looked at his watch. The man calling you garbage opened the border, allowed millions of people to come into this country, many murderers, drug dealers. The man calling you garbage got Laken Riley and Rachel Marin and Jocelyn Nungree murdered. The man calling you garbage got a 7-year-old child on Nantucket raped, got a 10-year-old child in Massachusetts raped by an illegal alien. We'll get to that story. It's mind-blowing. There's the man on the screen calling you garbage because you want to close the border. You want lower prices. You don't want endless wars. You don't want boys and girls locker rooms, boys and girls sports. You don't want to castrate and sterilize young children. You don't want Medicaid for illegal aliens. The man calling you garbage is one of the worst presidents in this country's history. Not just that, one of the worst people we've ever seen in higher office. That's the man who thinks you are garbage. And he said it, and he can't take it back. They can't clean it up. They can't spin it. There is no way here. Again, Trump doesn't even know Tony Hinchcliffe. Trump wasn't even in the building. Trump has nothing to do with Tony Hinchcliffe. Yes, he made a joke. It wasn't that offensive. It wasn't that funny. It was a joke by a comedian whose job is to tell jokes. That has nothing. I mean, that was a headline for 3 days. If you don't believe me, check out CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, you name it. They ran with this. They led with this for 3 days. A comedian telling a joke about an island in the ocean with garbage. This guy's talking about 100 million Americans. There's no comparison. This isn't Republican seizing. This is the sitting president dumping on half the country, and now they're stuck. They're really stuck. 6 days to go, and this is the headline. This what she said at her speech, the speech she read off the teleprompter. That doesn't matter today. This is the story. This is a man telling you what he really thinks of you. This is your president. It's disgusting. He's garbage. Let's be honest. Joe Biden is a garbage person, a garbage president, and I think he'll play out the string. He'll hang in there for a couple more months, but we'll all remember what kind of man has been in the White House. And good luck right now, Kamala Harris. She's going to speak today. I'm not sure what kind of comment they're going to write for her to read. I'm sure it'll have something to do with dictators and suckers and losers and Charlottesville and growing up in the middle class. I'll be curious to see. But any honest member of the media, and there aren't many, has to admit this is a disaster for Kamala Harris. This is not what she needed with 6 days to go. All right, we got so much to get to on this. It's just, it's a blast. I have to admit, it is fun watching these frauds in the media. The Washington Post says the comments are disputed. Politico flat out lied. They put out a statement and they claimed his reference to garbage. There was supposed to be an apostrophe at the end of supporters. And they're claiming he was talking about the supporters' rhetoric. The supporters' rhetoric is garbage. Now, that's a lie. They know it's a lie. They don't care. The guy who's on Morning Joe, Jonathan Lemire, he put out the statement immediately after the comments and lied and said he was talking about the Trump supporters' hatred for Puerto Rico. That's what he was talking about. They can't do it. They can't spin it. They can't lie about it. They can lie, but they can't get away with it. We saw it. We heard it. They're stuck here, and it's great to see. I couldn't wait to see all the clips from these absolute shills, these hacks, these frauds in the media. You name it. Joe Scarborough, Abby Phillip, Jonathan Lemire. They are they're in a box. Joe Biden did this to them. They have lied about him for 3.5 years, pretended he was a decent, honorable man, an empathetic man. And we got to see in a quick 1-minute clip what kind of man he really is. A man who has contempt for anybody who disagrees with him, and anyone who votes against him is garbage. Here's just a quick clip from CNN. Yes, they went there. A CNN panelist actually said, Joe Biden has a stutter. Oh, this is just so much fun. Let's watch.
Say though, Bakari, he was in his house, the White House. He was in his house doing this, and the reporting is that there are places that he can be useful, but he's not everywhere like you might expect a sitting president to be for his vice president?
I don't know that I would expect this president to be everywhere in this moment. I mean, look, a critical element, any coach will tell you, any CEO will tell you, a critical element of running a team and winning is assessing the strengths and weaknesses of your team members and making sure you allocate them in the right way. Joe Biden has never been a big arena speaker. He's never been the most fluid speaker. And by the way, as someone who had a stutter growing up, it's very obvious to me that there's an apostrophe at the end of supporters there. He was referring to the garbage spewed by supporters, not simply the supporters themselves. But Joe Biden has been on the campaign trail. He's best getting ice cream in Maryland like he was today. He's best showing moments of empathy in Arizona like he was last week. He's best with union folks as he was in Pittsburgh last week as well. You use people where they are best. You put Obama in a big arena, you put Michelle in a big arena, and you put Joe Biden in front of a bunch of union people doing retail politics.
You could make the argument that they would be fine if Joe Biden wasn't anywhere near a microphone between now and next Tuesday.
Let me just accept the most charitable framing of this, which you just gave. Why is he sitting in front of a laptop at the exact same moment Kamala Harris is out on his backyard trying to give the closing argument to her campaign? What in the world is he doing? Now, I don't accept your framing of it personally, because I actually do believe he, Harris, the Democratic Party, and most of their campaign do believe that half the country is garbage. They've also said people who go to Trump rallies are Nazis. And so it's pretty apparent the disdain with which they hold half of the country in.
That's not true. We've already litigated it in Kamala's speech tonight.
But as a tactical matter today,
no, but you don't just get to say
why in the world is Joe Biden giving remarks at the same time?
I'll give you that.
You don't get to just say that.
You don't get to say, why is he giving remarks at the same time as Kamala Harris? I cannot believe that clown.
No, she was talking about the left calling Trump supporters Nazis. She's like, you don't get to just say that.
and they say that he had an apostrophe at the end of supporters. It's just a flat out lie. That's what they're left with. Republicans pounce, and he has a stutter. And here's the headline from the Washington Post this morning: White House Trump campaign clash over whether Biden called Trump supporters garbage. They're clashing. Here's the lead. A single apostrophe or lack thereof caused an uproar in the presidential race Tuesday night after Joe Biden criticized Donald Trump during a virtual event and later denied he was referring to Trump's supporters as garbage. What? You tell me if there was an apostrophe. Can you play the statement again? I mean, I can't get enough of this, I admit. And the Politico immediately said he was referring to Biden, Trump supporters' hatred of Puerto Ricans. Not this statement. Play Joe Biden once again. Just a quick clip of Joe Biden. And tell me how any honest reporter, again, there aren't many of those, can look at this, hear this, and say, it's disputed. An apostrophe. We're talking about an apostrophe here. Can you isolate just where he says his supporters are garbage? I don't know.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Okay, what? Where's the apostrophe? At the end of supporters? Does that sound like there's an apostrophe at the end of supporters? That line. The only garbage I see are his supporters. 50, 80, 90, 100 million Americans. Garbage. And they're going to tell you, the Washington Post, one day after Jeff Bezos said they had a real problem because people don't believe them. People think they have an agenda. One day after Bezos, the owner of the Post, said that, the Washington Post says it's disputed what Joe Biden said, and it's all a dispute over an apostrophe. God, I love to see Democrats, fighting and undermining each other, but I love nothing more than seeing the media get absolutely exposed as just partisan shills and liars and frauds.
Absolutely insane, though. You're calling Trump Hitler and his supporters Nazis for the last 3 weeks, and then Scott Jennings brings it up, and they're like, you can't say that.
It's true. She did it again last night. We'll get to that. She talked about, she compared Trump to Hitler again last night. I'm not sure that's a winning closing message. Talking about a guy who's already been in the White House for 4 years, a guy who is the best friend Israel's ever had, a guy with a Jewish daughter, Jewish grandchildren, a guy who prayed at the Western Wall. He's Hitler? I mean, who told him this was a good closing strategy? This is amazing. You think the media lies, the White House lied. Here's the White House statement. They put out a statement after this. Joe Biden put out a tweet also. Trying to clean up the mess. The White House official statement, here it is. It says, and just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know or the Puerto Rican where I'm from. He almost says he's from Puerto Rico. That would have been so great. In my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. They put an apostrophe. It doesn't even make any sense. That is just bizarre. Let me remind you, the people who put this statement out, this blatantly false statement, they think there's a real problem in this country with misinformation and disinformation. They want a board, a federal bureaucracy to combat disinformation. These are the people who censored you, garbage people. If you question Dr. Fauci or vaccines or masks, these are the people who said the laptop was Russian disinformation and Trump was conspiring with Putin and Trump said there were fine people in Charlottesville. Those people who put out that statement say we have a problem with disinformation. God, they're such liars, such frauds. They're such scum. They really are. The media, Trump's been right about a lot. But the one thing more than anything else he's been right about is these are the enemy of the people. They are liars. They are partisans. They're doing everything they can to carry a completely incompetent, empty fool over the finish line in 6 days. That's the job. And it just got a hell of a lot tougher. Oh, man, we got so much more to get to. There's so much more lying and gaslighting from the media after this gaff. And the best part is no one's talking about Kamala's closing message. She must be just ripping her hair out. If Biden and Harris didn't hate each other already, and that's a big if, they do now. They do now. She must just be sitting there going, could you muzzle that old fool? Could you lock him away? Could he just shut the F up? No, he can't. And we will see, perhaps in the next 6 days, if he's indeed trying to sabotage the campaign and try to help Trump win so he could say, see, I told you so. You should have left me on the ticket. I could have beat him. I beat him before. I'd beat him again. I don't believe that. But I don't think she's going to beat him either. And they are desperate. And this doesn't help. They have 6 days to come up with something. And they probably will. There will probably be another October surprise. But this is not what they needed at this point. We'll get to Kamala's speech and more of the reaction to Biden's just epic gaffe, the latest Polymarket odds. One of the candidates is going down to Texas to talk to Joe Rogan, spend 3 hours with Joe Rogan, and it ain't Kamala. She doesn't have the guts. She doesn't have the ability to sit down with anybody for 3 hours. Hell, we'll show you some of the interviews she did yesterday. She just can't do it. She just can't do it. She is just so bad at this. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
Are your loved ones aging? Has walking become difficult for your parents, your grandparents? It's tough. I've been there. I know lots of you have been there too. Stairs can often be a challenge for them, It's also a significant risk of falling. Well, Lifeway Mobility, one of the largest providers of accessibility solutions, offers stair lifts, wheelchair ramps, home elevators, transfer aids, and bath safety solutions to improve safety, independence, and quality of life at home. Most of their solutions are made in the USA, and they provide professional installation and service. Gain peace of mind and help loved ones stay safe at home. Schedule a free consultation when you call Lifeway Mobility at 888-780-7923. They have locations across the U.S. with showrooms for you to see and test their products. They're also rated the best stair lift company by the National Council on Aging and by U.S. News, and they have over 6,000 five-star reviews. Call 888-780-7923 or visit lifewaymobility.com for your free consultation. That's 888-780-7923. All right, we are live on Rumble and Twitter. We all set? We on Twitter? I got to make sure I'm on
We
Rumble.
are live on Rumble, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook.
Excellent. I'm looking at Rumble right now. Almost 40,000 views yesterday. Man, this is a good time to be on Rumble and Twitter and everywhere else because this thing is just blowing up. We got 6 days before the election. 6 is not a bad one. Ironhead 6, of course, is Bill Russell.
Baker Mayfield.
We'll get to Baker Mayfield, Dr. J, Stan Musial, Here's the best one. Johnny Pesky, former Red Sox and just the greatest guy in the world. Good friend of mine, the late Johnny Pesky, was number 6. 6 days to go. And it's just slipping away from Kamala Harris and the mainstream media, who are going to go just crazy in the next 6 days, attempting to help their girl. I want to go back to the reaction from Sunday's Madison Square Garden rally to review. Tony Hinchcliffe, Kill Tony, told a few jokes. I believe it was 3 hours before Trump took the stage. He wasn't in the building. He said he never heard of the guy. Somebody else booked him. It wasn't a big deal. They brought a comedian. He told jokes. People weren't offended by the jokes. They weren't that great. They weren't that edgy, but it served the media what they were looking for, something to connect to Donald Trump. So immediately Trump, the fascist, the Nazi, he hates Puerto Ricans. What you're looking at right now,
a Trump rally in Puerto Rico.
A Trump rally in Puerto Rico, and that is great. They don't look all that upset that some comedian told a joke at a rally. I mean, I'll be honest, it didn't help having Tony Hinchcliffe do that because it was a great rally, and it gave the media a chance to ignore all the great speeches, ignore Trump, ignore the atmosphere, all the energy, and focus on that. But that's over now. That the focus is no longer on Tony Hinchcliffe. It's on who most people had never even heard of, who's a roast comedian. That's what he is. He does roasts. So he stood up and he said, I'll tell a few jokes, make people uncomfortable, maybe get a few laughs. He did that for 10 minutes and he was done and they moved on. But not the media. They jumped on this and went crazy. I can't wait. What is The View going to say today? Is Mika going to be okay? Is she going to be okay after Joe Biden's comments? I'm not sure, but here's just a quick review of how they reacted to a dumb joke by a roast comedian 3 hours before Trump took the stage. Go ahead.
Calling Puerto Ricans trash. Calling Puerto Ricans trash.
The most repulsive racial jokes about Latinos.
Disgusting and hateful.
So incredibly crude.
Frankly, just too X-rated to play here.
Extremely vile so-called jokes.
A comedian who offered unfunny, racist, cringeworthy jokes.
The key word, jokes. You could say they were jokes. Jokes are supposed to make you uncomfortable. Jokes are supposed to go to the line and sometimes over the line. What Joe Biden said wasn't a joke. He didn't chuckle. He didn't laugh. He didn't say, I'm joking. What Joe Biden said was not irrelevant. It was part of a theme from the Democrats that you are a bad person, that Trump is Hitler. His supporters are Nazis. They are bad people. That's what they think of you. Now, Trump has been in the public eye for 50 years. He's been in politics for 9 years. Can anyone come up with a comparable example of Trump talking about supporters of his opponent, of Trump punching down on people who just have a different view, people who vote for the other side? Does he ever say people who support Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, or Hillary Clinton are garbage, are bad people? He doesn't do that. They would love to. Right now at MSNBC, they're trying to find an example of him slandering half the country, and they can't. Trump doesn't punch down. Trump punches, at his opponent or Rosie O'Donnell or Joe and Mika. He punches at people at his level or close to his level in the media, in politics, celebrities. He doesn't punch down at some average voter, some farmer who doesn't agree with him, some waitress or some insurance agent. That's what Joe Biden was talking about.
Well, if you actually find the clip of Donald Trump saying there's good people on both sides and watch the full thing, he's talking about how there's good people everywhere.
Well, I mean, I don't even want to go through that again because it's so fake. They know he did it. It's on video. He said, I'm not talking about the Nazis or the KKK or the white nationals because they should be condemned totally. He's talking about people who don't want to rip down statues and try to rewrite history like Mao's China. He's talking about people who didn't want Robert E. Lee's statue ripped down, or Abe Lincoln, which we did in Boston, took down a statue of Abe Lincoln. He's talking about people who want to defend and preserve our heritage, our history, even if it's not perfect. Those people, yes, there's fine people among those people who don't want to rip down statues and change the name of every school or military base. But anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked on that. Everybody knows that's a lie. Even the people telling the lies know that's a lie. But
I am glad it looks like our chat had Callahan coffee this morning because they were crying about Tony Hinchcliffe yesterday, and they seem to have woken up and realized it's just jokes.
I mean, that's the defense. You want the defense for what happened at MSG on Sunday? It was a joke. Did you think, was it funny? Not particularly. It was a joke by a guy paid to tell jokes. Okay, that's what's your defense of what Joe Biden said? How do you defend it? I mean, if you're Joy Behar today, or Mika, or Rachel Maddow, what do you say today? You talk about an apostrophe. If you do that, you sound like a fool. You sound like an absolute joke. That there's a dispute over the apostrophe. That is another great result of what we're seeing right now. The media is exposing themselves as absolute clowns. You're going to say it was disputed, what we just played a couple times, what you just heard? Don't believe your lying ears. He just left out the apostrophe. God, they're such contemptible lying scum. They really are. It is something to behold. They are desperate. They can't stand the thought of Trump winning, and they don't know what to do. They have to defend a bitter old dementia-ridden fool and his empty vessel of a running mate. All right, let's get to Kamala's speech again. This is where she's comfortable, surrounded by deep state hacks who know their phony baloney jobs are on the line here. They came out of their ornate buildings and their offices, and they came to the Ellipse on DC. You know, it was all about optics. This is where Trump gave the speech on January 6th. No one cares about January 6th anymore. It was one day, a bad day, and it's 4 years ago. We've moved on. People aren't voting on January 6th, but they can't let it go. They just can't. So she's in DC, surrounded by DC people and connected people and politicians and lobbyists and you name it. And the best part was half the speech was interrupted with sirens. You know, I would say crime in D.C. is a bigger problem today than it was 4 years ago. But who knows? And she actually, there's a couple things I want to get to. I want to get to the her claiming she's going to remove illegal aliens. I mean, obviously, she lies a lot. Obviously, it's part of, she has to lie a lot. She has no record. She has no accomplishments. She can't run on her record. She's running away from her record. She's running away from all the policies she supported for the last 20 years. She has no choice. These are policies that people have rejected. Nobody supports any of any policy, least of all the open border. So now she wants you to believe she's not only going to close the border, she's going to remove illegal aliens. Yes, she said this last night. Listen.
Politicians have got to stop treating immigration as an issue to scare up votes in an election. And instead treat it as the serious challenge that it is, that we must finally come together to solve. I will work with Democrats and Republicans to sign into law the border security bill that Donald Trump killed. When I was Attorney General of a border state, I saw the chaos and violence caused by transnational criminal organizations that I took on. And when I am president, we will quickly remove those who arrive here unlawfully, prosecute the cartels, and give Border Patrol the support they so desperately need. At the same time, we must acknowledge we are a nation of immigrants.
Honest to God, she just said she will remove illegal aliens. Just a reminder, she let them all in. She let 20 million illegal aliens in hopes that they will eventually vote for Democrats. And now she actually says she will deport them. She just told the audience, the crowd, the country, she will deport illegal aliens. If you believe that, you are dumber than she is. Nobody believes that. No supporter, no Trump support, nobody. She will say anything at this point. She will say anything to get elected. That is a remarkable thing to hear. Kamala Harris is going to remove illegal aliens. Once again, why didn't you do it? You've been in the White House for 4 years. Why didn't you and Joe do it? We know why. You let them in. So the same people that you just imported, you're going to deport if you get elected?
The only trans criminals that she deals with are the ones that want sex changes anyways.
It's remarkable. This woman who opened the border, who literally said that you shouldn't use the term illegal aliens, who offered Medicaid and sex change surgeries, who supported giving them money and hotel rooms and phones and food and Social Security, says she's going to remove illegal aliens. That is the most shameful lie. And it's just, she just says it. I mean, obviously she doesn't write it. Someone writes it for her and puts it on the damn screen, and she reads it with no shame. Just, God, is that? Anyway, what else we got for Kamala last night?
Well, you can't say that Scott Jennings gets in trouble for being like, you're calling us Hitler and Nazis and stuff, but here's
this is the most offensive thing that she said all night. This is honest to God. She is just without conscience. She has no soul. There's no hesitation to say anything to get elected. Watch this.
And those who came before us, the patriots at Normandy and Selma, Seneca Falls and Stonewall, on farmlands and factory floors, they did not struggle, sacrifice, and lay down their lives only to see us cede our fundamental freedoms. They didn't do that only to see us submit to the will of another petty tyrant. United States of America, we are not a vessel for the schemes of wannabe dictators. The United States of America is the greatest idea humanity ever devised.
Oh, shut. It's not an idea. It's a country, lady. It's a country. And those patriots at Normandy, I'm just going to guess they would not be supporting you. You know what? They stormed the beaches for a lot of reasons. I don't think they stormed the beaches so you could have the right to an abortion in the 9th month. I'm pretty sure that's the freedom she's talking about, but she doesn't care. Wouldn't you love to ask her, like, what day? What happened? What day was Normandy? What day we stormed the beaches? How many people died that day? How many women and trans soldiers died that day? She's just so
say zero.
Someone's wrote a speech and it sounds like a speech out of a friggin' Chris Farley movie or some like a Veep speech, and she just reads it and talks about the Patriots at Seneca Falls. What happened there, lady? Tell us more. She has no idea. She is just so empty.
And that's exactly why she won't do Joe Rogan, because he'll ask questions like that.
Yeah, we'll get to Joe Rogan. I love this. So she's not going to do Rogan. They demanded he come to her, and they only do an hour. And I'm sure they would say, here's what you're going to ask. She's not going to talk about this. No questions about Dougie smacking his girlfriend. No questions about Dougie knocking up the nanny. No questions about abortion in the 9th month. No, you can't ask about McDonald's, where it was. So Rogan says, no, I don't travel. I do it in my studio. People come to me. I'm the biggest podcaster in the world. She turns down an interview with a guy who interviewed Trump for 3 hours and got 40 million views on YouTube. 40 million. She'll go on The View, which probably has less than 1 million.
That is just YouTube.
Right. That's true. Just YouTube. He has 14 million subscribers on Spotify. So you're talking 50, 60 million people see it. And she turns it down because he won't come to her. First of all, she didn't want him to come to her. She didn't want him to do it at all. And she knew he would turn that down. So they said, here's the deal. We're busy. She was in Texas the other day. She could have gone there when she was in Houston. She didn't because she doesn't want to do it. So in her place, J.D. Vance is on his way to Texas to do Rogan today, and that'll probably get, 20 million views. He'll be so good at this. Vance is so good at this. She is so bad at this, and she wanted no part of a podcast that would get tens of millions of views because she knows, her handlers know, she can't do it. She can't handle it. She can't do 5 minutes without sounding like a completely empty vessel. Do you have her interview with the local reporter yesterday? Yes, she did it again. There's a couple of clips, but the one with the woman who asks about the economy. What do you say about the people who are having trouble paying their bills? This is, once again, the most obvious question. You think she could come up with an answer, a cogent answer, a thoughtful answer to, 1 or 2 questions, like how are you different than Joe Biden? What are you going to do about the economy? What do you think she says when this woman asks about the economy? Just watch.
Message to Michigan voters in terms of the economy. We have auto workers who are being laid off and those who fear that they might be laid off. The average person can't afford groceries or their rent. And recent polls in Michigan show that Michigan voters believe that Donald Trump would do a better job with handling the economy and bringing jobs back. What do you say to that?
Well, let's start with this. I come from the middle class, and I'll never forget where I come from. My mother worked very hard. She, by the time I was a teenager, was able to save up for our first home. And I understand.
It has nothing to do with anything anytime she says it.
And once again, even if it were true, it would be just an empty answer. It's not true. She's the child of 2 college professors, 2 PhDs. She grew up affluent in Montreal. And it doesn't matter. She's memorized the line, and maybe some focus group or some internal poll told her.
Never brings up that she's a descendant of slave owners either.
No, she doesn't. Or that she had 2 PhDs as parents. who were very accomplished, and she didn't go to an elite school. You know, she didn't pass the bar the first time she took it. She didn't try any cases of note. Nobody knows of a single case she tried of note when she was a DA in San Francisco. We're going to learn more about her resume when this is over and when people can actually tell the truth, because there's so many holes. She didn't work at McDonald's. She didn't grow up middle class. She didn't struggle to pay the bills. That's not true. We got more from her. She made the rounds. Again, these are 5-minute interviews, and she struggles. 5 minutes with some local station, and she's surrounded by her handlers, and she probably knows the questions in advance, and she still can't do it. Watch this.
I think what some voters are struggling with, and we've heard this across the state, is when you discuss your plans, they come back and ask, well, why haven't you done it already?
Well, I'm not president.
You're vice president.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm going to tell you what I'm doing as president when I have the ability then to do what I know based on my experience is a new approach that is about building on the good work that has happened. But there's more to do. There's more to do.
It's unbelievable. You're vice president, though, with all due respect. It's
you're vice president. Even the local guy probably supports her. It's like, you're vice president. And she can't answer that question. She's been asked for a month. They can't come up with an answer. Just say you'll do something different about whatever, the border. You're going to do this. We should have done that. Just something minor that you'll do different than Joe Biden. We all know Biden's been a disaster, and you're his vice president. So what will be different? They can't answer it. Her surrogates can't answer it. They don't have an answer to the most obvious question. She is just so how about that? Yeah. How about we would have done the withdrawal from Afghanistan a little differently? We wouldn't have left those soldiers and Marines exposed to a suicide bomber at Abbey Gate. How about that? We feel terrible about that, But no, she can't even come up with something that the garbage president Joe Biden did that she disagreed with. All right, damn it, don't have enough time today. I have so much to get to. I got to get to this latest crime, violent sex crime committed by an illegal alien. And have we got the poly market odds? We'll get to the poly market odds and more. But first,
excuse me.
All right, small business owners, listen up. If you're tired of losing money to credit card processing fees, we've got something you need to hear. With 24/7 payments, you can eliminate up to 99% of those fees thanks to their fee elimination program. Here's how it works. You pass the processing fees on to customers who pay with credit cards, and in return, you can offer them a discount for paying with cash or debit. It's a simple, effective, and fully compliant way to save thousands every month. Right now, 24/7 Payments is switching over 250 businesses every month to this program, and they can have you set up in less than 24 hours. Call 855-504-0799 today or visit them on the web at 247payments.com. That's the numbers 247payments.com. Do you want a better way to simplify finance operations for your business across expenses, vendor payments, and accounting? If so, Ramp could be a complete game changer for you. Ramp is the corporate card and spend management software designed to help you save time and put money in your pocket. Ramp gives finance teams unprecedented control and insight into company spend. With Ramp, you're able to issue cards to every employee with limits and restrictions and automate expense reporting so you can stop wasting time at the end of every month. Ramp saves you money. Businesses that use Ramp save an average of 5% in the first year. Ramp is easy to use. Get started, issue virtual and physical cards, and start making payments in less than 15 minutes. Whether you have 5 employees or 5,000, doesn't matter. And now you get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/Gerry. That's ramp.com/Gerry, ramp.com/GERRY. Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank. Member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. I always have a little trouble understanding how people can vote for Democrats. I've always struggled with that. But I got to say this time is even more mind-boggling to me. Obviously, I live behind enemy lines. I deal with Democrats. I got them all around me. Yeah, go ahead. Throw the poly market up there. We'll get to this. Is good. You want the good news? Highest yet for Donald Trump. Poly market odds 67%. I don't know. This is probably before the Biden gaffe, but whatever. She's at 33%. That is an all-time high for Donald Trump. The betting odds, every market has her under 40%. Not looking good for Kamala, but they have time. As Barack Obama said, they have time to plan, to cheat. They're doing their best to keep illegal aliens on the rolls. They're suing to make sure that ballots that show up late are counted. They're forcing RFK Jr. to stay on the ballot. They're doing everything they can to steal this, but it's going to be tough. But I do this all the time. I look at these stories and I say, how can you vote for 4 more years of this? I want to do this. And we've done it before. It's constant. It's just this every day. It seems like we get a story like this. This was yesterday in Boston, Dateline Boston. A 38-year-old Guatemalan national accused of forcibly raping a 10-year-old girl for years is in federal custody after posting bail at a Massachusetts courthouse. Maynor Francisco Hernandez Rodas of Lowell is charged with aggravated rape of a child and rape of a child with force, court documents show. Lowell police say Rodas is a father of 4 and a construction worker and a soccer referee. Was taken in and charged on June 14th. Conditions for the release included Rojas live with his brother, not have any contact with the victim or immediate family, and stay out of Lynn, and forced to wear a GPS device. So he repeatedly raped a child, 10-year-old child, since she was 5. The girl told cops he did it many times over many years. He's here illegally. Federal authorities lodged an immigration detainer against Rodas on June 28th. Rojas was held without bail after his September 4th arraignment, pending a hearing. On September 19th, his brother posted $1,000 cash bail. He remained in custody after posting bail, but that was then fitted with a GPS device. So he was released on $1,000 bail in Massachusetts, a sanctuary state. He's here illegally. The victim, a 10-year-old, told investigators he began sexually abusing her when she was 5, and it happened many times as she, quote, got older. She's a 4th grader. This guy's here illegally. He's in Massachusetts because we're a sanctuary state. It's happening over and over again. And I have to go back to this story. I have to. I tweet about this occasionally, and it just is mind-blowing. There was a bill before the House that would deport illegal aliens who commit sex crimes. Again, deport illegal aliens who commit sex crimes. 158 Democrats voted against that, including every Massachusetts congressman except Steve Lynch. So all but one voted. The rep who represents, the congressman who represents this district where this child was raped, voted against deporting this man. All 158 Democrats voted against deporting illegal aliens who commit sex crimes. Don't believe me? Google it. It's almost too much to believe. But they want these people here among you, in your neighborhood, around your children. That's what they voted for. And Tuesday, Massachusetts will vote overwhelmingly for the people who voted to keep people like this, a man who raped a 5-year-old for 5 years till she was 10. They want him here. They want him to stay here. They could have voted to deport him, and they voted against it. 158 Democrats. I read these stories, and it just blows my mind. You want more of this. This state has been overwhelmed with illegal aliens because we're a sanctuary state. New York, Colorado, Springfield, Ohio, overwhelmed. And people will go to the polls on Tuesday and vote for more of it, 4 more years of it. I struggle to understand how anyone could vote for Kamala Harris or Liz Warren or Ayanna Pressley or Ed Markey, but they will. In overwhelming numbers, Americans will vote to keep illegal aliens in their neighborhood, illegal aliens who rape children. Period. That's the story. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not making anything up. This guy raped the girl, just like the illegal alien on Nantucket raped a 7-year-old child. And the congressperson voted to keep this man in the country. Democrats don't care about 10-year-olds, 7-year-olds who get raped violently. The 7-year-old in Nantucket was hospitalized. It was a violent rape, and the congressperson who represents that district voted to keep the rapist here. Period. That's it. And yet, Kamala Harris will win by 25 points. Liz Warren will win overwhelmingly. Ayanna Pressley will win overwhelmingly. You get what you vote for. You're going to get more of this for the next 4 years, and you can't complain. You voted for it. They are voting for this. It is just mind-blowing, mind-blowing. What does it take to wake people up? A 5-year-old raped repeatedly isn't enough for you to open your eyes, to wake up and say, we can't have 4 more years of this? You've seen what happened for the last 4 years, and you want it to continue? It is just, I'll never be able to get my mind around it. Never. You want them here. You vote for them to stay here in your neighborhood and do this to children. Just, it's not, you're not voting to deport everybody, which is a good idea. You're voting to deport illegal aliens who rape children. And my congresswoman, my senator, hell, Kamala Harris, they say no. We want them here. We need them here for whatever reason. It's just mind-blowing. But anyway, we got to leave it there. I got to shut up. We got to get going here. We'll be watching all the fallout from Joe Biden's attempt to sabotage the Kamala Harris campaign. Yeah, I'm leaning that way. I mean, he's stupid, but he's not that stupid. And, oh, by the way, check out Rob Finnerty's town hall with J.D. Vance last night. Got overshadowed by Joe Biden, but it was great. J.D. Vance is so good at this. I cannot wait for President J.D. Vance in 2028. But that will do it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is the Callahan Show, and we will do it again tomorrow.
But I'm going to go to bed.